Hello. Okay, next tutorial. This makeup is actually meant to be either an interpretation or a recreation or an inspired look of one of the band members of SlipKnot. Basically, I had no idea that this band had so many amazing different, not makeup looks, more masks, and I mean, I have to give a special shout out to, hopefully I pronounced your name right, Chanel Shadows. I'll pop your name on the screen there. So thank you so much for requesting the SlipKnot recreation, because I had no idea these guys had such amazing masks and makeups and such. But this particular mask is meant to be worn by Jordison. Hopefully I'll pronounce his name right. But it's meant to be this emotionless or hiding emotion type mask that, or some people call it the Christ mask, that kind of thing. And I don't know, I just think it's super fun and super creepy looking. And if you want to see the actual mask that I'm talking about, specifically one of their music videos for Dead Memories, he's in that quite a lot, and you see it close up, and it is super creepy. So yeah, if you'd like to see how to recreate this look, stay tuned. Okay, so you can guess what the first step is going to be, because I do it in every one of my videos, but yeah, so I'm going to block out my eyebrows. I won't show you guys how to do it in this video because I do it in many of my other tutorials, and I wanted to save some time up in this video, so I'll pop a link here to one of my previous tutorials, so if you watch the first 2 minutes of that, it should hopefully sum things up for you. So there we are. Make sure you really block them out well, hence, I mean, that's why I look a bit rough here, because I've got an extra coat of Spirit Gum, so I've got Spirit Gum wax and more Spirit Gum. Reason for that is I'm going to be covering my entire face in liquid latex, and including my eyebrows, and I know it's completely safe, I've done it in many of my tutorials now. As long as you have a few layers of sealant on your eyebrows, it's fine. The only thing, if anything, it's going to pull off is going to be wax, not your eyebrows, so yeah. So I'm going to let that all dry, and then I can start on the next step. Right, so now I'm going to switch over to my voiceover. The reason I'm doing a voiceover is because I am going to be blocking out my mouth. I know I've done it in the last 3 tutorials, or 2 tutorials in a row, but there is a good reason for it. I've noticed the effect it gives is this still, lifeless, kind of a dull look, and I don't know, it's weird. I mean, you haven't got to do it for this look. You could just paint the lips black and paint some stitches on, do some shading. It could work, it could, but I just love the just lifelessness look, like, that it gives the look, and I mean, it's going to be appropriate for this look, considering it's meant to be a mask, so yeah, so I think blocking out the mouth just makes you look less, not human. It's difficult to describe, it's really eerie, and it takes away all the emotion from the face. I don't know, so that's what I'm going to do. It's up to you guys. So yeah, I'm going to switch over to the voiceover now, and we'll go from there. So the first thing I'm doing is taking a regular sponge and some liquid latex, and I'm going to coat my entire face with that. Obviously making sure not to go over my eyes, or my eyelids rather, because then I wouldn't be able to see, and that wouldn't be very good. So, also I'm taking some regular Vaseline or petroleum jelly, and I'm just going to apply that onto my beard, because I don't want my beard to rip out, because that would hurt lots, and I like having a beard, so it's just that's kind of barrier. So I ended up doing about 3 coats on my face in the end of liquid latex, just to get some depth. Then I'm applying some liquid latex on my mouth as well, and I'm using some regular tissue paper in small pieces that I've thinned out, so I've torn it in 2, so I've got the thinner half, and I'm just applying that on my mouth in probably about 3 to 4 coats, maybe, just to get it smooth. It's not going to be too smooth, because you're going to see the outline of the lips at the end, because we want it to look stitched and stuff like that. And just apply a small piece at a time. I ended up using my fingers just dipped in liquid latex to smooth it out in small circles, just so I can get a smoother surface. And also make sure not to just apply it on your mouth. It needs to be like spreaded slightly up towards your cheekbones as well, just like 1 coat towards the edge and then thicker in the middle, just so it tapers off and you've not got this sudden change in skin texture. Then I'm taking my stainless steel spatula, and I'm ever so gently and slowly peeling away the latex around my eyes, just so I can get the depth. Just be really patient with this, don't pull it too hard or it might rip. Yeah, just slightly pull up the edges. So there we are, that's what it looks like. So once you've done both eyes, be super careful on this step. I took some scissors and I just made a small cut on both of the edges of the latex towards my tear duct, and just made a small cut that was basically a triangle facing towards the tip of the nose, just because that's the eye shape that he has. Then I took a red Kohl eyeliner pencil, and I just basically sketched on the shapes that I want for the cuts that go vertically along the forehead, just as a kind of guideline. And once I'd got the shapes that I wanted, I once again took my stainless steel spatula, and I just started to pick ever so slightly in the centre of one of the lines at a time, just so I can get a raised area that I can cut into, basically. So again, be super careful with this, just take your time. So once I'd had it raised, I took the scissors and I just cut along the red line, making sure I pulled it out ever so slightly just so it separates a little bit, but the latex is quite taut when it dries, so it should pull apart nicely on its own, so all you should need to do is just cut along that line. So yeah, I did that for all 8 of the lines, and then I took my scissors and very carefully made some cuts on the latex that was hanging off around my eyes, and some of them I just like triangled off, so I cut a small triangle out of each section. It's not got to be symmetrical, it's more just to roughen the edges of around the eyes, and it just gives that kind of weird, creepy, hollowed out effect. It's quite funky, really. If there are any flaps that aren't sticking down afterwards because you've already peeled them back, just take some Spirit Gum and just stick the underside of the latex, and then press it down just so you've not got any flapping bits of latex. Then, being really, really careful that I don't pull up too much of the area around the mouth, I made a small hole in the middle where my mouth is, and I took some scissors and very, very carefully made a cut from my bottom lip all the way down to maybe halfway down my chin, down the centre, and then 2 small cuts either side of that. Be so careful you don't pull it up, because we want, obviously the bottom's not going to be stuck anymore, but the top lip and the sides of the mouth will still be sealed, so that will still have the silent, emotionless look at least. Then I can start on a foundation, and I'm going to be using 3 parts Snazaroo Clown White, maybe 2 parts of M.A.C Studio Fix Fluid in NC15, which is just a light liquid pale foundation. What I'm going for is a white, but it has a hint of skin tone in it. We don't want it to be completely block white. We want that fleshy tone to be there, just so then the cuts that have blood coming out of them make sense. Yeah. So I'm just going to pat that all over my face, not rubbing it because I don't want to peel up any latex or ruin any edges. So yes, I'm just going to pat that all over my face and all over my neck as well. So once I've done that, I'm taking some Grimas black cream, and the reason I'm using a black cream is because it is really, really dark and it's a really lovely colour to work with. And I'm just applying that all in the hollows of my eyes completely, not on the actual latex itself basically. So all of those points that I've cut in, I'll colour those as well just so they stand out more. And I'm also colouring in the cuts that I've made on the forehead and also the cuts that I made on my mouth, just because it adds a lot of extra depth. I've also just really roughly gone around my mouth. We don't want it to look neat, just literally dab it all around the mouth just to make it look smudged and just really, really eerie. I then took my Collection 2000 felt eyeliner pen in black, and just because it's got a really nice tip to it and a really nice fine point, I can just neaten up the lines that I've drawn around my eyes, just make them look extra sharp, and maybe add a few extra little lines in there, yeah, just to improve the overall shape. I then continued drawing down my eyes, kind of like tears, like as if it's streaming down my face. I did kind of like roots, so they're like each little squiggle basically has another little squiggle splaying off of it, that kind of thing. It hasn't got to be symmetrical. I did it on both eyes. I think one eye has 2 lines, one eye has 1. Yeah, I think so. I don't know, it kind of gives like that effect of veins, I think, but more jagged. I also did a line going down the middle of the forehead as well, because that's going to be the area that's going to have some of the stitches on. Then I took a Mehron silver watercolour, which is really nice and metallic and really nice and light. Annoyingly, it hasn't actually got a name, this silver, so sorry about that. But I used that basically to mark all the areas where the stitches are going to go. And annoyingly, it didn't show up as well as I was hoping on camera, because it kept catching the light because it's so metallic, and it just didn't seem to... You couldn't really see it as much, so I ended up covering these areas in tin foil. Now, in real life, you could see it quite well. It's just because I have 3 lights beaming on me, it kind of hid them a little bit, so hopefully you guys won't have that problem. And I ended up adding some extra black cream, just 1 line underneath each stitch, just to give it a bit of added depth, really, so you could see it a little bit better. And then I did exactly the same again over my mouth with the silver and then the black cream. And yeah, as I said, this is where I start with my tin foil. I cut some kitchen foil basically into really, really small strips, and I used some Spirit Gum just to stick them over the areas where I've painted the stitches basically, because as I said, it just didn't seem to stand out enough really. And I just did 1 more extra stitch just going over my, I think that's my right eyebrow, yeah, and I stuck some tin foil along it as well. Then I'm taking a M.A.C black Fluidline in Black Track, and I'm going to be using that to line the waterline of both my eyes just to make them look extra dark. And then I just took my Collection 2000 felt eyeliner pen and just drew on 4 or 5, I think it is, circles just above my eyebrow on both sides of my face. And now comes the fun part, the fake blood. So I took the fake blood and I just ran it down all of the cuts on my forehead. I didn't do any bruising or anything because obviously it's meant to be a mask and such, so there wouldn't really be much bruising, but I did it as if there was already blood on the face when the mask was applied, so it's seeping through the cuts in the mask, that kind of a thing. And I don't know, I think adding more colour to it would have just made it look way too over the top crazy, so I don't know. So, and I also ran the fake blood underneath the eyes as well to make it look extra glossy, and I ran it along all of the lines as well. Try not to apply too much colour at once, because otherwise it would have just made a huge icky mess, and this bit's going to look extra icky. But what I did was I took a load of the fake blood and I just dropped it on my mouth in the direction that the 3 cuts are on the bottom of the mouth, just so the colour can dribble down on its own. I didn't want to force the colour down there because I wanted it to look like blood is just coming out of the cuts in the mouth, and if I had forced the colour to go, it just wouldn't look as realistic. And the last thing I did was I applied some more fake blood in the tear duct of one of my eyes, just so it would, not in the actual tear duct of my eyes, but in the area, just so I could let it dribble down, and so it went down to the bottom of my face, as if it was crying blood on one side. And I also took some more black, and I just ran it down 2 dashes down the sides of my, well, the sides of my, where my temples are basically, and just to add a bit more texture and a bit more random craziness to the look, really. And that's it. So I finished the look off by applying a long black wig and my thorny crown, which I apologise for. I literally made it in a hurry because I really wanted to do this look super bad. I made it like 5 minutes before doing the tutorial. It's literally long strips of black card that I glued in a halo in jagged shapes and spray painted it with black spray paint and gloss varnish paint just to make it look shiny. I don't know. I'm sure you guys can do a lot better. It does the job though, I think. And the costume is literally a black studded jacket with a white shirt and a black tie, so nice and simple, really. And I decided to switch my eyes as well, so these are my regular eyes, but I think it look better with some white mesh eyes, so here they are. It really adds some lifelessness to the look, and it just really completes it and makes it look that extra bit creepy and scary. But yeah, so that is my SlipKnot look, really. So I really hope you guys enjoyed it. If you like it, make sure to rate, comment, subscribe, the usual. And yeah, so until next time, bye.